Hello there. Should probably take the opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Stan, and I'm a Chicago Cubs fan. Ever since 2016, all I've known is heartbreak and disappointment. Hell, it's been like that every year other than 16. So when the 2023 season started, I didn't have much optimism. But lo and behold, the season starts going by, and we start winning. With St. Louis out of the way, the Reds falling apart after their hot summer, the Brewers continuing to have offensive woes, and the Pirates being the Pirates, I felt as though this division, hell, the National League, might finally be ours for the taking. But then we start losing. We lost big time. We lost so many times that we had to rely on the falling Reds to still have a chance to make a wild card spot. Then came St. Louis, the bane of mine and everyone in the North Side's existence. They had no reason to play the way they did. This season was over. Just lose out so that we can get in via the Diamondbacks choking to the Astros. But no. You had to have one final say-so in our fate. We're the Cardinals. We can't have Chicago getting the best of us. So they won. And effectively ended both ours and Cincinnati's season. So now I ask, was it all worth it? Do you feel proud of yourselves, St. Louis?
Rip Chicago, rip Cincinnati, rip Bozos. None of you are getting into the fucking postseason this year. Courtesy of St. fucking Louis. Okay, welcome to another episode of SCS Basedball. The baseball season is finally over. What a long fucking year it's been.
Thank fucking God.
It's been a pretty painful year for just about everyone in the podcast. At the very least, though.
How's the couch feel? Is it comfy?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. I just wanted to make sure it was comfy for both you and Hilda. Hilda's not here right now, but you know.
I'm sure she'll like it. Admittedly, I am excited to watch a postseason that I don't really have a stake in. I mean, I guess we're gonna have a stake in it because in this episode we're gonna make predictions.
We're gonna predict every single series. Although Hilda is not here, they did make predictions as well, so we will read those off for you guys.
Yeah. Do we tally this? Do we tally this as part of our Winnie the Pooh baseball thing?
No, we could just have this be for something else.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm looking forward to that because we were all pretty wrong about a lot of things.
We were wrong about a lot of things, and then whenever the World Series ends, November 4th at the very latest, we'll figure out
who has to play Winnie the Pooh baseball.
Who has to play Winnie the Pooh baseball?
That's gonna be a torture session.
Another SCS torture episode. What were they thinking?
So yeah, for those who have been living under a rock or simply haven't been paying attention to baseball for whatever reason, the teams that made the playoffs are in this order. Baltimore in the American League, Baltimore got the 1 seed, Houston number 2. Tennessee, number 3, they couldn't not get in. Tampa Bay, number 4. Texas, number 5, and Blue Jays, number 6.
Yeah.
In the National League, Atlanta's number 1, number 2 Dodgers, number 3 Milwaukee, number 4 Phillies, number 5 Miami, and number 6, I didn't expect them to show up this year, Arizona. To be honest, I didn't expect a lot of I didn't expect Arizona or Miami to be here.
Yeah.
I'm pleasantly surprised though, because this is a much more interesting bracket than the one we had last year.
Yeah. And last year we had uh Tampa Bay, Seattle, Cleveland, uh San Diego, the Mets, the Cardinals, you know.
There were a lot of usual suspects last year.
Yeah.
Out of this year, the ones that are returning from the last postseason are Toronto, Houston, Tampa, LA, Atlanta, and Philly.
Yeah. Every other team has either not made the playoffs since 2020 or haven't made the playoffs since longer. I forget when the last time the Rangers made the playoffs were.
When was the last time the Rangers won a World Series?
Never.
Never? Like, they've simply never gotten one?
Never. They got close in 2010 and 2011.
That's insane.
Yeah. In 2010, they lost to the Giants, and in 2011, they lost to your Cardinals.
That's right, baby. Speaking of Cardinals, the Cardinals had one hell of a send-off series against the Reds. Uh, they not only did they get the Reds out of playoff contention, but they looked damn good doing it. Well, it really felt like I was with the old St. Louis again, like the St. Louis of last year. Uh, it was a really beautiful event overall. Adam Wainwright's retirement happened. He did a concert, which I admittedly still haven't seen, but I did hear that he started crying in the middle of it. It was a very emotional event for him, especially because Pujols and Molina both showed up.
Yeah.
Yachty even held up a sign that was like, "I want to see Wayno bat," so they let him do it.
I want to see Wayno bat. And they're like, fuck it. We'll
I
do it.
mean, it's his last day at Busch. It's his last day playing. It's his last day playing the game.
Yeah.
So I guess they figured that they just let him have a little fun with it.
Yeah, let him have his fun.
It was a really good series, and it almost makes the pain of this year worth it. If nothing else, it makes me come out of the season with a brighter idea for the future.
Yeah.
The front management has pretty much admitted full responsibility in their part of how fucking bad this year was. Uh, Oliver Marmol went on to say that he cannot repeat the mistakes he made this year at any cost, and I'll hold him to that because wow, this year was bad. Uh, Michaelis did pitch 200 innings though. Some of them were pretty fucking bad, but he pitched 200 innings. That's a big record for him.
It's a big deal for the guy. 200 innings in his career or in the season?
Uh, Let me check again. Third time in his career.
Okay.
He was a pretty prolific starter, and sometimes he was good, sometimes he was not so good, but there were a lot of supposedly good players that underperformed in the Cardinals this year.
Yeah.
It kind of says a lot that Jordan Walker came into the league and was already one of our best.
Yeah.
Both about the state of the team as it was, and also about how fucking good Jordan Walker is.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Mets and the Pirates were up to for their last series.
We let we let Miami get into the playoffs and not have to worry about playing one more inning on Monday against the Mets.
Like the Mets were going to be able to play spoiler for them. I think they were getting in anyway.
Yeah.
I'm surprised to see them here, but given who they were up against, no shade.
Listen, with the way that the Cubs uh fucking collapsed, it was bound Miami getting in was bound to happen.
Yeah, honestly, I'm glad the Cubs collapsed. Fuck the Cubs.
Fuck the Cubs. We hate Chicago.
It's so fucking funny that it's so fucking funny that St. Louis made sure the whole NL Central, other than Milwaukee, which couldn't not get in, made sure the whole NL Central just stayed on the couch. If we can't go there, if we can't go to the playoffs, no one will.
Technically, we did that too, because we shot our. While you were busy shooting Cincinnati in every conceivable way, we were shooting ourselves in every conceivable way so that Miami could clinch a spot.
That might be true, yeah.
We lost our final series against Miami, but we did win our final game, and we ended our year at like fucking what was it, 76 and 80 something. I don't know.
Well, at least you didn't end your year on the bottom of NL Central like you did last year.
We didn't end the bottom, and we didn't end with triple digit losses. So I'm pretty happy about this year.
Yeah, you didn't end at the bottom of the league like a certain four or so teams did.
Yeah.
So no one's surprised that the biggest loser this year was the Athletics. Uh, the Royals briefly overtook them
Yeah.
at losing, but the Athletics picked it right back up. They ended the season with only 50 wins.
How the fuck do you do that?
I don't know. I guess you beat Oakland, I guess. Fuck. Yeah, then there's the White Sox, which we know why they were pretty bad this year. And then the Rockies. Damn, the American League was fucking up this year.
Yeah. The American.
Like, some teams in the American League have been insane, and others were absolutely fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I remember, didn't the All-Star Series have the National League win this year?
I think so. I honestly don't remember anything about the All Star game.
All I remember is that it happened in Seattle.
Yeah, that's all I remember too.
But yeah, so uh, let's move on to that postseason bracket, shall we?
Yeah. So again, in the postseason bracket, we're gonna have the Rangers take on the Rays, the Blue Jays take on the Twins, The Diamondbacks take on the Brewers, and the Marlins take on the Phillies. And then what?
Houston, Baltimore, LA, and Atlanta all got buys.
Yeah, they all have buys, so they don't have to worry about playing until the divisional series. Whoever wins the Miami and Philly series will take on Atlanta. Whoever wins the Tampa Bay and Texas series will play Baltimore. Whoever wins the Minnesota and Toronto series will play Houston, and whoever wins the Milwaukee and Arizona series will play the Dodgers.
So since Hilda's not here, should we go over her predictions first?
Yeah. We'll go
All
over
right.
her predictions first.
So, going from the top left of the bracket clockwise. Well, not clockwise. What am I talking about? So basically, Hilda's take on this is as follows. For the American League wild card, the Blue Jays and the Rays will be the teams that move on. Uh, she thinks that from that point on, Houston and Baltimore move on. Orioles will beat Houston, make it to the World Series. And then on the National League side, Hilda thinks that the D-backs will beat Milwaukee, Marlins will beat Philly, the NLCS will come down to Dodgers and Braves, but the Dodgers will make the World Series. And her predicted winner for the World Series is Baltimore.
Baltimore.
So there are a few things that I agree with her on, and some things I do not agree with her on. But I'll let you go over your predictions first.
All right, I'm gonna go over my predictions, baby. So, for my predictions, Rays are beating Rangers. Uh, although I would like the Rangers to beat the Rays just so that we can get uh baseball games at Globe Life, which is a really, really nice stadium. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think the Rays are, even though the Rays pitching is basically on its last two legs at this point, I still think their hitting is good enough to beat the Rangers, especially since the Rangers bullpen is absolute dog water.
Yeah, that's fair. The Rays do have kind of out of this world offense.
And then in the second AL wildcard game, I have the Twins beating the Blue Jays, which I know the Twins, they never win a playoff series. They usually never win a playoff game. The last time they made the playoffs, they got swept by the Yankees or whoever the frick they got swept by in 2020. I don't remember that year at all. Here's the thing, though. Toronto, the Blue Jays, they lost their first game against Seattle last year pretty fucking handily, not gonna lie. And then their second game, they were winning pretty handily. And then the choke of all chokes happened. They got swept by Seattle. And then Seattle eventually got swept by Houston. And then Houston eventually won the World Series. But after that choking job that fucking Toronto had, I do not trust them to beat a team as broken and beat up as the Twins are, because trust me, the Twins are pretty fucking beat up right now. They don't have Correa, and they don't have Buxton. Although they do have some pretty good hitters to fill in for those two guys. And
I can kind of see where you're coming from, but I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison exactly between the Twins right now and the Mariners last year.
yeah.
We'll go on.
But yeah, and the Twins rotation is pretty fucking good, not gonna lie. I would I would argue it's as good as I would argue it's better than the Dodgers rotation right now cuz the Dodgers starting rotation is literally either beat up or they're in jail for being stupid.
Wait, who is a better starting rotation than the Dodgers?
The Twins, mostly because the
Oh,
Dodgers rotation is either injured to all heck or, in the case of Julio Urias, in jail for being a fucking idiot.
oh yeah, the number one husband.
The number one husband. And then over on the NL side, I have the Phillies beating the Marlins. No shade against the Marlins, but they're kind of eating biting more than they can chew at this point.
Yeah, and I think that sleeping on Philly after last year is a bad idea.
Yeah, sleeping on Philly is a bad idea. Who knows? Maybe sleeping on Miami is a bad idea this year, but you know, we'll only know in about a few hours or so as of recording. Uh the Marlins, they are also pretty beat up. Their Cy Young winning pitcher, Sandy Alcantara, is out for the rest of the year. Their next top pitching stud and Yuri Perez is also beat up. Uh, Jazz Chisholm is still pretty rusty after missing most of the year, also due to injury. It's not that I don't think the Marlins can win at least a. I think the Marlins can win at least a game against the Phillies, but if I had to choose between the Phillies and Marlins, I'm picking the Phillies.
Yeah, yeah, that's a fair assertion there.
And then the final wild card game between the D-backs and Brewers, I have the D-backs. Now, this was a bit more of a challenging one because the Brewers have been playing pretty good recently, and a lot of people might choose them as their sleeper pick. Who knows? I personally don't trust their hitting core enough. I think Yelich is good. Contreras is good. The rest are kind of hot and cold. You never know with the rest. And obviously, it's a 3-game series, so the D backs are going to have quite a handful trying to deal with the 3-headed Brewers monster of Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, and Freddie Peralta. But if the D backs can get a couple good hits in, which I think they can, they might run away with it.
Yeah, the D-backs have had pretty good offense this year, haven't they?
Yeah, they've had a pretty good offense, and in terms of pitching for this series at least, they've got some pretty good selections as well. They have Cy Young candidate this year, Zach Gallen. They've got Merrill Kelly, who's had a pretty good year. Don't really know who they'd go for a game 3, but I'm sure they'd do fine. And then, yeah. And then, now moving on to the division series. we've got the Orioles and the Rays. I'm picking the Orioles because the Orioles just, there's something about this team, man. There's something about this team. They got that dog in them.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the Rays, I don't think, have the steam to beat the Orioles in the division series. They didn't even have the steam to beat the Orioles in the division.
Yeah. It's literally, I think this will be the best series. Actually, wait, every series I've picked other than Astros and Twins are going to be like between division rivals, so each one could be really good if this plays out. But yeah. Orioles and Rays. Orioles win. Their bullpen might be a little shaky thanks to what is it? Thanks to Felix Bautista needing Tommy John surgery, who is their star closer, and whatnot. But I think their offense can, do good enough to where that won't matter.
Baltimore's?
Yeah, Baltimore. Their bullpen
Sounds right.
Yeah. And then the Astros and Twins. Obviously, the Astros are beating the Twins. The Astros are beating whomever.
Yeah, I don't
wins.
think it matters who advances to the ALDS against the Astros because that's kind of just a meat grinder.
Like, I think the Twins can make some noise against the Blue Jays, mostly because of the choke of last year. And I just don't trust Toronto. But
even then, getting the 3 and 6 seed kind of signed both their death warrants.
Yeah. The Astros, they're just a machine.
The AL Central won a contest to be like the first to die.
Yeah. It's literally just gonna be like, even if the Twins, are competitive, it won't matter. The Astros, although their pitching isn't as solid as it was last year, their hitting has really stepped up a notch.
Didn't they get Verlander back?
They did give Verlander back, but it hasn't helped all too much.
Yeah, that's fair. If I recall, Framber Valdez has done worse this year too.
Yeah. But we'll see.
I think Verlander has too.
Orioles would beat Astros. Yeah, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Dodgers and Phillies in the NLCS. If they start playing games. Dodgers beat Phillies. Over on the National League side, I got Phillies and Braves in a rematch the Phillies of the NLDS last year. Phillies win again. Just because I think it'll be really funny. Year they didn't have if to the play Braves the have all this superstar firepower that they've been that people have been boasting about all year long. And they still can't beat Philly. Their capabilities of beating.
It would be funny.
Again,
I'm not sure how likely it is, but yeah, it would be funny.
Due to injuries and whatnot, but their hitting is superb. And although I also think Phillies hitting is superb. Similarly to a couple other teams I've talked about. I don't know if the Braves bullpen LA is this also could go either way, honestly. But mostly their middle bullpen would probably be the Dodgers. Like, their closer and setup guys
it is
are
worth noting
pretty
the
good,
Phillies do have the Dodgers old
whenever
shortstop.
you get to like their middle relief or long relief guys, that's when you start. If that series even happens, that's when you start building those down runs.
Yeah.
So once you take their starters out, if the Phillies could take the Braves starters out of the game early, which I think they can, it looks like it might be a runaway. But again, we never know. All right, and then the final division series is between the Dodgers and D-backs. I have the Dodgers winning that one just because, although the Dodgers, again, have a weak starting rotation, uh, the D-backs don't really have a strong one either. And I would argue that LA has a stronger offensive presence than the D-backs do. Nothing, and again, this isn't anything about the D-backs. It's a good season no matter what happens, I feel like, but I think the NLDS is as far as they go.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then in the conference series, in the ALCS, we've got the Orioles and the Astros. I feel like all three of us have picked Orioles and Astros for this, and
Maybe true. Yeah.
and I think all three of us. I'm not gonna spoil yours, but I'm with Hilda slash Cammy on this boat. I'm picking Orioles to represent the American League in the World Series. It's just, again, they Orioles know how to win, which is surprising considering 2 years ago the only thing they knew how to do was lose. But you know,
They've made some leaps and bounds this year. That much is very true.
yeah, they've made some leaps and bounds, and they're only projected to get better, especially with that farm they have. Like, holy shit, holy shit.
So you think the Orioles will take the series too?
Yeah, I think the Orioles will represent the American League in the World Series. All right. So my World Series pick between the Dodgers and Orioles, I really like the Orioles coming into this offseason, but unfortunately I'm making a minor safe pick and going with the Dodgers.
Yeah. What's your reasoning there?
Both offenses are explosive, and while the Dodgers starting rotation is weaker than Baltimore's, their bullpen is stronger than theirs.
That's true, and that could really come in clutch.
So while the Orioles could, get an early lead against the Dodgers in some of these games, the Dodgers could come back from them early deficits and then win the games. I do think it would be close. I think it would all boil down to a Game 7.
Yeah,
But,
my predictions are the same, though I don't predict the same teams.
though, in the end, I think Dodgers win it out. And then the Orioles get back into high gear next year. With probably Jackson Holiday.
Yeah.
Right,
Either way, next year is looking real good for the Orioles.
Yeah. Even if they don't go far this year, it's still a good year, and next year looks to be even better.
Yeah, the fact that they won their division, they should be holding their heads high over that.
Yeah.
So it's on to my predictions now, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so for the American League wild card, I'm withheld on the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are infamous chokers, but I think that the Twins... I think that, like, the Twins at their best are still not as good as the Blue Jays at their worst.
That's fair.
I think that I think that even if the Twins do win, though, of course, yeah, it won't matter because no matter what team wins, they're going to go up against Houston and probably die. But we'll get to that. Again, between Texas and the Rays, I think that the Rays have some explosive offense.
Yeah.
But I think that I don't think the Rays have the momentum to take them into the playoffs. They didn't they didn't have the momentum to win their own division because the Orioles simply just kept going as the Rays started to peter out.
Yeah.
Texas got very close to their division. Of course, they didn't win it, but I think that in the wild card, Texas will probably come out with the upper hand. For
Yeah,
the
most
National
likely.
League wild card, I kind of do just have a bias against Central teams in general, but this year has been pretty crazy for the Diamondbacks, and I think that they do have the offense to push Milwaukee out. It's not going to be like an incredibly decisive series, but
Yeah.
I think that it's more than possible for the D-backs to win. As for the Phillies and Marlins, I think the Phillies will win that one. The last time I said the Phillies wouldn't win the wild card series, it didn't end very well for me.
Yeah.
Not to mention the Phillies roster has only improved since last year.
Mm-hmm.
After all, they have Trey Turner now.
Yeah.
When it comes to the division series, like I said before, it doesn't matter who loses the wild card, Houston wins.
Yeah.
And I don't think it matters who wins the other end of the AL wild card either, because I think Baltimore will beat either of them. The 1 and the 2 seed are very, very strong contenders in the AL this year.
Yeah.
Their positions in the tournament are no fluke. Well, in the bracket, rather. So NLDS. So I know you think the Dodgers will probably beat the Diamondbacks. I think that it's possible. I think it's more than possible, and in fact, I'm betting on it being the other way around. Because the D-backs have had some really good series against the Dodgers this year, and the last time the Dodgers, well, and last year the Dodgers kind of jobbed like hell, and they got the 1 seed last year.
Yeah. That's fair.
It did not get them far. Uh, I think it doesn't matter who wins the bottom half of the NL wild card because Atlanta will disintegrate them.
Yeah.
It would be really funny if Philly beat Atlanta again. I just don't think it's going to happen because of how Atlanta's been this year.
Mm.
Because both rosters have improved, and Atlanta basically won the league by a lot. So when it comes down to the conference series, the Astros have honestly fallen off, and I don't think that they'll beat the Orioles.
Yeah.
Everyone expected the Astros to be dominant this year. It didn't really happen until very late in the season.
Hmm.
And I still think that them winning their division in the first place was kind of a fluke. Especially because the AL West was like such a hot competition between the three teams in it that matter. As for the NLCS, between the Braves and the Diamondbacks, I still think the Braves have it. So, my World Series prediction is that it will come down to Orioles and Braves. And I agree that, and I agree even though we have different teams in the World Series, I agree it'll probably go to a Game 7. But I think that Atlanta has some pretty crazy pitchers like Spencer Strider. And obviously some pretty insane batters that'll end up taking them to the World Series.
Yeah.
Not to the World Bowl. They'll end up getting them the World Series. So yeah, I think all in all, Hilda thinks the Orioles will win the World Series. You think the Dodgers will win it, and I think the Braves will win it.
All three are different in that.
And I think they're all pretty equally likely.
Yeah. I think it's good that we all went with a different pick this year,
So that we're not all,
so that we're not all wrong.
we don't get unanimously fucking butt blasted when St. Louis gets eliminated in the wild card. We were all so certain of it.
I think like my main thing this year was like, all right, whatever you do, no matter what they pick, be different.
Yeah, that's honestly a fair assertion.
Be different so that yours may become more likely than theirs.
Viable strategy. Don't listen to me when I talk about baseball. I'm not always right. I try to always be funny, though. I think that part's more important. And if I present something funny like it's fact, it'll definitely become true.
If we manifest, what if we all manifest Atlanta losing? It'll suck for you because you picked them to win, but at the same time, it'll be great for the rest of the universe.
Yeah. I won't even be mad if I end up being wrong. Because it's not that I want Atlanta to win, I just think that they're going to.
Yeah.
Unless something really crazy happens in the NLDS or CS.
Let me ask you this though: are you glad you were wrong about the Yankees winning the AL East?
Yes.
Even if that ends up being the one that leads you to
Leads me to
Winnie
playing
the
Home Run
Pooh.
Derby.
Yeah, that leads you to playing Winnie the Pooh.
Do you already have that tallied up?
No, because we still have the World Series picks that we made at the beginning of the season.
Right. What were those? Wait. I think I remember. I think
we all either picked San Diego or the Mets.
No, last year. No, our World Series predictions. I'm pretty sure we all picked Astros.
At the beginning of the year.
I think so.
Hold on, I have record of this. I wrote it down on my phone. I went back, watched the episode wrote all our predictions down on my phone so that I'd have them. I'm gonna fact check us real quick. Here we go.
That was pretty doomer after the Astros beat the Phillies.
Alright. At the beginning of the season, Hilda or Cammy picked the Mets, and then you and I picked the Padres.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're fucked.
Yeah. We don't even have to wait for the World Series now. I could just tally those up right now. Because we all got that wrong, too.
You know what? How much time do we have left?
We've hit an hour.
Did we tally them up before we end off, or?
Honestly, yeah, because I don't know how much of this I have to cut out.
Alright, sounds like a plan.
Alright, I'll tally those up right now. As we speak. I was gonna wait until the end of the World Series, but considering we all picked teams that aren't even in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. We all got that wrong.
Yeah.
Alright, so for the AL East, Hilda picked the Orioles, which was actually right. And
Ding, ding, ding.
And I think we all made fun of her. I think we both made fun of her for it, too.
Okay, so that's Hilda 1. Scoom 0, Snoot 0.
Yeah, I picked Blue Jays, you picked Yankees. For the AL Central, we all picked the Guardians.
And we're all wrong.
We're all wrong. For the AL West, you and Hilda both picked Astros. I picked Mariners.
Ding, 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 ding. Get fucked.
Oh, man. And then the NL East, you and Hilda picked Mets. I picked Phillies.
We were both wrong. We were all wrong.
In the NL Central, we all picked Cardinals.
And we were all dead wrong.
And then the NL West, we all picked Padres, and we were all dead wrong.
Alright, any others?
In the wild card, the AL wild card, Hilda picked Rangers, Mariners, Blue Jays. 2 of those are correct. 1 of those are wrong. Rangers and Blue Jays. Mariners incorrect.
Now Hilda's at 4 fucking points now.
Holy sh! They didn't get a single playoff prediction last year right, and now they're kicking our ass in the actual season predictions. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's between you and I. It's basically between you and I as to who was forced to play home run derby.
And for my wild card picks were Yankees, Astros, and Orioles.
That's 2.
Yeah, that's 2, even though they weren't technically wild card, but. And then for the AL wild card, you picked Mariners, Orioles, and Red Sox.
Okay, so now we're at Hilda 4, Scoom 2, Snoot 2.
Okay. And then the NL wild card, Cammy picked Braves, Phillies, and all 3 of those are correct! Technically.
7. Hilda's at 7.
Technically speaking, those are all correct. Braves won the division, but they still made the playoffs, so I'll technically count that. For fucking. Oh, we also picked Central Conference Series picks.
Huh.
I think we'd only have to wait for the ALCS because you and Hilda both picked Astros. So we'd have to see if that ends up being true.
Yeah, but at that point, let's tell you like the rest that we can.
Yeah, and just see if that even would matter. For me, I picked Dodgers, Braves, Mets. I got 2, and then you picked Phillies, Dodgers, Cubs. So that's 2. We're still tied at 2.
Yeah, now we're 4-4.
Technically, we'd have to wait for ALCS, but I got it wrong because I picked Mariners. We all picked the NLCS winner wrong because Hilda picked Mets. We picked Padres. World Series was wrong. Worst team. All of us were wrong.
It's so funny how differently we were all wrong. I mean, like, I still don't know what Hilda was cooking when she said Red Sox. I thought my logic was sound with the Reds being the worst team, but then Ellie De La Cruz came into things.
I was the closest with the Rockies.
They were the worst team in the NL. You got that right.
And
I was right that the Pirates and the Reds wouldn't be equals this year. I just didn't expect how it would turn out.
And then we had the special Orioles pick, which I named after the Orioles last year. We all picked Pirates. Would you say Pirates were like the biggest jumpers from bad to good?
Let me go back and check. So in the 2022 standings, well, so now I'm comparing the standings between 2023 and 2022.
The Pirates made a jump, but I feel like the Reds made an even bigger jump.
Yeah, no, they did. I'm looking at the teams right now. The Marlins also made a jump. You know who I think really made the biggest jump between these years?
Who?
Hang on, I'm double checking. The Orioles, actually. In the NL, it was the Diamondbacks that made the biggest jump. Because the Diamondbacks were like second worst in their in their division.
Who knew that the Orioles pick would end up being won by the Orioles?
So we all thought it was Pirates?
We all thought it was Pirates.
Yeah. So Hilda got the most right somehow.
Yeah.
And,
I think you and I are tied.
Yeah, so we have to wait until the ALCS to see who plays one home run derby.
Yeah.
This is getting intense. I didn't think the competition would go like this.
If we end, all right. How about this? If it ends up staying tied, between me and you after the ALCS, we could just take these playoff predictions here and see who got the least right here.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I'm looking forward to see how this turns out.
Yeah. Who will play Home Run Derby? Find out in like a couple weeks. Until then, this has been SCS Baseball. By the time I probably get this episode out, all of these games, all these series, these wildcard series probably would have started by now. But, yeah, get on the ball with SCS Baseball. With that, we'll see you next time.
Have fun on the couch, everybody.
Unless you're in any of the cities that made it to the playoffs, in which case, good luck or get fucked.
Also, don't take what I said as an innuendo.